our Nevada judges, the great YouTube website, had cameras on Chillie DeCastro's trial this morning, which started on December 6th. As you know from yesterday's video, there was a motion pending by the DA to continue the trial because the main officer who arrested him is not available. And as I suspected, they heard the motion this morning. So January 23rd, 2024. What did they?
013015.
Judge Zimmerman.
I know. I'm gonna go back to it. She's just bouncing around.
Good morning, Your Honor. Mike Lee on behalf of the defendant. The defendant is present with me this morning in the courtroom.
Good morning.
Is this from the
9:30 county.
9:30?
The bench trial, Jose DeCastro. Are the officer present?
No, Your Honor. We filed a motion to continue. Forget
Oh,
that.
I see it.
So
No motion.
Put Ms. Jefferson filed a motion. She put Mr. Me on notice of this on November 29th. So we're asking to reset the trial based on the motion we filed.
Did you receive a copy of the motion?
Your Honor, I have a copy of.
Okay, so the prosecutor guy right here is saying, look, another prosecutor in my office served the motion on the attorney. The judge is asking that because that's part of due process to make sure that the attorney says in open court that he did get the motion or he received it or it was served. So now, now we'll start hearing whether or not this motion is valid.
I can be heard on that.
Yep.
So
It says if I can be heard on that. So this is his objections. This is it.
it looks to me that the subpoena referenced in the affidavit was not timely submitted 10 days prior to this date. Beyond that, Your Honor.
So the police officer would be subpoenaed as a witness, and he's saying that not enough notice was given. You know what a judge would say to that? Okay, great, we'll fix that problem. We'll just move the trial back so that he can get enough notice. It's not always the best argument.
All the information in the affidavit is that the officer is currently on leave under the Family Medical Leave Act, but there's no information about whether he's in this jurisdiction, out of this jurisdiction, if this is a medical issue. For the witness to be absent for the purposes of Hill, there either has to be an absence from the jurisdiction or a medical issue. Now, this might imply one of those situations exists, but I have no information one way or the other to confirm if that's the case, just because he's on leave. He could be on leave within this jurisdiction and able to appear. So there's not enough information in the affidavit to grant the motion to continue.
Okay, well, I disagree with that. First of all, it's none of your effing business what this the police officer's reasons are for invoking the FMLA, because that's a federal law that he has a right to invoke, and you have no right to know the reasons for it. The court has to enforce the law, and the law says that this guy gets time off. So
I'll submit on that, Your Honor. Thank you.
So there is no 10-day service of subpoena requirement for Hill. That's not a part of the Hill case. In fact, the Hill case doesn't actually even require service of a subpoena. It's a due diligence showing by the state that they exercise their due diligence in attempting to acquire the witness.
that's right. And
The information from the officer was that he's gone on the Family Medical Leave Act and is unable to appear in court. And I know that I don't know the specifics, but I know that there are rules in terms of what someone can or can't do when they are on FMLA leave.
That's right.
So that's the information we were given. We're asking the court to continue this matter until after January 2nd, when the witness is no longer on FMLA leave. We're not asking for some crazy amount of time. It's a reasonable request. The defendant's the other consideration is that the defendant's out of custody and there's no real prejudice to the defendant.
I think the stronger argument would be right here is this dude requested continuances in September. He came in for 2 continuances, only to find out that on the third attempt for a continuance, because of discovery, that the state had already provided everything. So he can ask for continuances, we can ask for continuance. That is always a fairness issue the judge will always agree, usually, well, almost always agree to. So
By granting this motion to continue until January 2nd. If he was in custody, obviously that'd be different, but I'd ask the court grant the motion based on the submission by the state.
I was not here on November 30th, but the minutes say that the state represented that they will be filing a whole motion to continue the bench trial as the lead officers are available. So I think you are aware of that on November 30th.
I was aware of that. The motion had not been filed all
Sure.
that time, but it was discussed at that hearing, yes, Your Honor.
So it was actually filed that morning, later in the morning. So the state has met their burden under the Hill case. I will grant the motion to continue. I will set it on a date in January, after which the officer is available. And I'm happy to set it at the convenience of both parties.
Your Honor, if it is gonna be January, my availability later in the month would be better.
Later in the month would be better, more towards the end of January.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, how about January 23rd at 9:30?
That works for the defense, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
January 23rd, 9:30. Alex?
Okay, once again, you undermine your own credibility when you say to the judge, "Oh, we basically object to this continuance." And then the prosecutor says, well, we're just looking for early date in January. And then when the judge says, okay, I'm granting the motion, when do you want it? And the other side says, oh, I want it at the end of the month now. Well, hold on, dude. You're now arguing an inconsistent position here. You're saying that you're being prejudiced by this untimely motion and didn't get enough notice. And then when the time comes for you to actually set a date, you set one out 3 weeks later than the prosecutor even wanted. All right, so there you have it. Trial January 23rd. I have a feeling that with all the media coverage on this misdemeanor case, that there's going to be a televised trial as well. Again, thanks to the Nevada state judges for filming this. Nevada judges, I keep saying it wrong. Great website.